We're now ready to look at part C of question 2 of the CSEC Mathematics, May 2022. But on looking back at what we did before, see that I made a mistake. This should have been plus. So it's 3W plus 5 over W minus 1 would be the answer. Alright, so we're going to look at part C, but you have to erase the board. Erase the board. Erase the board. Alright. So let's get rid of these things. And then we look at part C of the question. Let's copy this first and put it over to our whiteboard here. Paste. Now, the thing is this. What they say is the height h of an object is directly proportional to the square root of its perimeter P. You must write an equation showing the relationship between h and P. Let's first of all remind ourselves of something. Direct proportion as opposed to inverse proportion. When two quantities are directly proportional, both of them increase together, they go up together, and they go down together. When one increases, the other increases. Right? When one decreases, the other also decreases. So, if, for example, let's use an everyday example. In business, you're advertising and you spend $100 on advertising. Advertising is $100. Sales is $1,000. Suppose, for argument's sake, you find that you double your advertising to $200 and your sale increase to $2,000. Then they are directly proportional. Alright? And when you increase your sales to $300, your advertising to $300, your sale increase to $3,000. They are going up together and then you find that you drop your advertising budget to $50 and your sales drop to $500. Right? Well, it doesn't work like this in real life, but like in physics and in electrical, voltage and current, if you do electrical and so on and so forth. But we're just making an argument. They're directly proportional. Right? Here, what you look at is that the $100 advertising divided by the $50 is 2, and the $1,000 sales divided by the $500 sales is equal to 2 as well. So to get the same proportion, you divide. Alright? So you divide to get the constant 2. Put 200 over 100, you get 2. 2000 over 1000, you get 2. Alright? Now, the thing is, you could also put the 50 over 100, right? Advertising, this advertising over this sale, or this advertising over this advertising, compare it with this sale over this sale. You get 2. That's in terms of the sale, the advertising for the $50 resulting a sale of $500, and the advertising for the $100 resulting a sale of $1,000. I mean 0.5, I should say. You get 0.5, right? So half and half. You get the same number you call a constant. So you divide to get the constant. Now, they rise together and they fall together. And the thing is, with inverse proportion, that is different. When one rises, the other falls. And when one falls, the other rises. Alright? So, it's like them saying that they're going to widen the road to ease traffic. Right? Or, no, let's not say that. Let's say you have a hose in your hand, and let's say this is your hand, and you have the hose, and you have water flowing out of the hose. You have squeeze, and you have flow of water. You squeeze with 1 pound of force. The flow is 1 gallon per minute. When you squeeze with 2 pounds of force, you squeeze the hose harder, the flow give you only half gallon per minute. So the harder you squeeze, you increase the force of squeeze, the water flow drops, it decreases. So when the squeeze, the tightening of the squeeze go up, the flow of water go down. Alright? Now, if you squeeze with 3 pounds, the flow drops to 1/3 gallon. Now, to get the constant, you say the squeeze at 2, right? Remember, the squeeze with 2 multiplies the flow with half. You get 1. When you squeeze with 3, you multiply the 1/3 gallon per minute, and you get 1. 1 is the constant here. Sure. But anyway, the question doesn't really ask you about inverse. So it's direct. So let's go back to the question now. That was just a side explanation to remind us of this inverse proportion, direct proportion thing, and the fact that they put directly proportional, we also are reminded of the other one, which is the inverse proportion. But anyway, we see that when one go up, the other go up. When one go down, the other go down as well. Direct proportion. So we divide to get the constant. So here now, height is directly proportional to the square root of p. Since they're directly proportional, and we want an equation showing the relationship between h and p, what we're going to say is h divided by the square root of p. What am I putting the square root of 2? The square root of p give you a constant, c. Sometimes they use a, they use k for the constant, but we use c here. So that is a relationship of an equation showing the relationship between H and P, right? The directly proportional and H is directly proportional to the square root of P. To get the constant, you divide. So H divided by the square root of P gives you a constant. Constant means a number. And the number remains as it is. It's not changing. No. Here, what they say. Given that H is 5.4 when P is 1.44, determine the value of H when P is 2.89. So let's paste this here and work out this part. How about you work it out? Pause the video and work it out for me. Alright, you finished. What did you get for it? Let's go through it together. H is 5.44. So H is 5.4. So you put 5.4 over P is the square root of 1.44 equal a constant. We're going to find the constant. We can't find it. But determine the value of H when P is 2.89. We know that H over the square root of P is the same constant. It must be the same number. But they say we're going to find H when P is 2.89. So let's erase the P and put 2.89 there instead. 2.89. We're going to have to find what the constant is. Here, 5.4 divided by the square root of 1.44 is, let's get our calculator here. Calculator. Alright. What did we have over there again? 5.4 over the square root of 1.44. 5.4 divided by the square root of 1.44 equals, and we get 4.5 as our constant. So this is equal to 4.5. So C is 4.5. Our constant is 4.5. So here now, we can rewrite this and say H divided by the square root of 2.89 equals 4.5. You see that? One thing you do now is you multiply by the square root of 2.89. Alright? So you have H over the square root of 2.89 equals 4.5. You multiply by the square root of 2.89, and this time the square root of 2.89. 2.89 will cancel 2.89. So what you have here is that H equals 4.5 times the square root of 2.89. Now, what will that turn out to be? Calculator. You have 4.5 multiplied by the square root of 2.89 equals 7.65. 7.65. And there we have it. The answer is 7.65. Alright? Answer to part 2 of the question here. 7.65. Later on, we see what happens with question 3.